You see, there's a science to getting people to trust you. With women, it's all about emotion, connection, that you feel the emotion as strongly as they do. They've been dreaming about that shit ever since they were little girls. With her, it was shared history. A friendly face, set her off balance, helps diffuse aggression.
You lost so much weight.
Start discussing emotional shit. They're disarmed. Now they're open. You know you got them when they start to unconsciously mimic you. A head nod, a hand gesture. It means you're in sync. And then you move in for the kill. You tell them how they've changed you, changed how you see the world. Then you close. A talisman, a gift that says, you've always been in my thoughts. She had no idea. She got fooled.
Laws of power. Law 44. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. The mirror reflects reality, but it is also the perfect tool for deception. When you mirror your enemies doing exactly as they do, they cannot figure out your strategy. The mirror effect mocks and humiliates them, making them overreact. By holding up a mirror to their psyches, you seduce them with the illusion that you share their values. By holding up a mirror to their actions, you teach them a lesson. Few can resist the power of the mirror effect, as you will discover with contemporary media examples from the Blacklist, Mission Impossible, Suits, and if the video doesn't get too long, even Game of Thrones. Enjoy! Keys to power. In its positive form, mirroring, also known as isopraxism, has tremendous potential to get to know other people. You can build phenomenal rapport by mirroring. FBI and CIA agents are trained to use this form of nonverbal communication to simultaneously, whilst building rapport, to also extract a lot of information from their targets. We'll cover the positive form of mirroring a lot in the verbal dominance videos. For example, you can use it to make fun and lighty conversation, to become funnier and to get in tune with your friends and family. However, in this video, you'll see the dark side of using the mirror, one that manipulative people might use against you or your loved ones. You need to know that when you interact with others, they are often absorbed in their own self-centered perspectives. When you attempt to assert your ego upon them, it creates a barrier, a wall goes up which increases their resistance. However, when you mirror their behavior and thoughts, you effectively enthrall them in a form of narcissistic fascination where they see a reflection of their own soul, their own ideas, their own perception of the world. Remarkably, this reflection is entirely crafted by you. Once you've used the mirror to captivate them, you wield significant influence over them, as was beautifully shown and explained in the opening of this video. So first, you convey the impression that you share their thoughts and objectives. Second, if they suspect you have hidden intentions. The mirror conceals your true motives, preventing them from discerning your strategy. This gradual process can leave them frustrated and off balance. By assuming a dual role, you steal their spotlight, diminish their assertiveness, and induce a sense of helplessness. You also gain the ability to determine when and how to unsettle them, which is another path to power. Another important thing, by using the mirror, you save a lot of mental energy. Simply mirroring the actions of others grants you the space and time necessary to craft your own strategic moves. There are 4 types of effect that the mirror produces. Each of these is covered in depth with great historical examples in the book, so buy the 48 Laws of Power and read it. To keep the video relatively short, I didn't include the stories from the book like usual. Out of the 4 types, I'll cover the last 2 in depth in this video with the aforementioned media examples. First, the neutralizing effect. The essence of the neutralizing effect is doing what your enemies do by following their actions as best as you can. In this way, they won't see what you are up to because they'll be blinded by your mirror. You neutralize them by playing a game of mimicry with them, which mocks and enrages them. One way to do this is to use the warrior's mirror, which you can use when you don't have a particular strategy of your own. Just observe how it is being used against Harvey right now.
Your Honor, he's trying to...
I know what he's trying to do. He's using your words against you. But they are your words, Mr. Spectre.
This neutralizing effect also has a reverse version called the shadow. You follow the movements of others to gain valuable insights into their habits and routines. Robert mentions that the shadow is the preeminent device for detectives and spies. Second, the narcissist effect. You look deeply into the soul of other people. You fathom their inmost desires, their values, their taste, their spirit, and you reflect it back to them, making yourself into a kind of mirror image. Your ability to reflect their psyche gives you great power over them. They may even feel a tinge of love. Now that I've covered those two effects briefly, let's cover the remaining two with media examples. Observation of the hallucinatory effect in Mission Impossible. Tom Cruise and his team need this guy in order to find the plutonium that got taken from them to stop a nuclear attack. The guy who was involved in the attacks is him.
The question now is who would attack all three of these holy sites and why? The attacks occurred at precisely the same moment. Congress ordered an emergency reset.
We read the manifesto. We know who you are.
When they read this manifesto, they'll understand.
Nobody's gonna read that manifesto. I can promise you that.
What day is it? How long have I been here?
What's the last thing you remember?
I was driving. Someone hit me.
That was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks?
2 weeks. John, look. We know all about him.
You know nothing.
There's information in this phone that could lead us to him, and you have the passcode.
Why the suffering goes on?
Shut up. We don't care about you. We want Lark.
What if we make a deal?
Step outside. Give me 5 minutes with this guy.
What if they read the manifesto on the air?
What, you can do that? Well, if he reads Lark's manifesto,
No.
I'll give you the passcode.
Ethan! Think Ethan.
On the air.
I've been asked to read this manifesto in its entirety. As mankind, so-called defenders of peace, the church, the government, the law,
Did we get it?
prefer to delay a peace.
What's done is done.
We got it.
Go.
I don't understand. The attacks didn't happen.
Car accident you in, that was an hour ago.
What's done is done. When we say it's done.
Interpretation. As you saw, this guy was fooled into believing that first, the attacks already happened through watching the news. Second, that he was where he was because of everything surrounding him, from the nurse to the hospital bed to the fake and acted fight. He got sucked in emotionally, and remember guys, when emotions are high, rationality is low. Third, he was fooled into believing he got what he wanted, the manifesto read on air.
To delay a peace.
What's done is done.
And since the attacks happened anyway, what's the downside of giving them these codes? The added drama was all a show to cover reality and trick them into believing the entire con. Once Tom Cruise and his team got what they needed, they exposed and shattered their deceiver's mirror.
What's done is done. When we say it's done.
As you saw, the hallucinatory effect comes from creating a perfect copy of an object, a place, a person. This copy acts as a kind of dummy. People take it for the real thing. This is the preeminent technique of con artists who strategically mimic the real world to deceive you. It has also applications in any area that requires camouflage. That was the deceiver's mirror. Let's move on to the last effect. It's called the moral effect. Before I show you this one in the Blacklist, which is a great application of the law, you need to understand that according to Robert Greene, the power of verbal argument is extremely limited and often accomplishes the opposite of what is intended, as covered in Law 9. Here is an excerpt of what Robert Greene says regarding the use of words in the realm of power. By the way, in the video of Law 7, I also showed you a splendid example of the mirror effect effectively being used. So after Katrina took credit in the beginning, Mike retaliated. Katrina learned the next time she needs Mike, she doesn't have his force with her. She created an enemy out of this, and to Mike's credit, he used an extremely powerful tool and law to disarm Katrina. Law 44. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. So, instead of arguing endlessly, learn to win through actions, win through using the mirror effect. Observation in the Blacklist. In the Blacklist, there's a short and sweet tactic used. Here is some context. Someone is infecting people to control them. If they don't comply with the given request, or let's say demand, they don't get the antidote and they will die.
You alright? Someone call a doctor!
Once the biological contagion is in their bloodstreams, they get blackmailed and become a pawn in somebody else's game of life.
I've infected you with the Cullen virus. You are dying. Within a matter of hours, your temperature will spike, rashes will spread, you will experience blackouts, bleeding, and within 24 hours, you will be dead.
In the syringe before you, you will find your first treatment,
which will sustain you for the next 24 hours. If you're still alive in 24 hours, you will receive your second treatment, along with instructions on how to proceed.
That person in essence becomes their master and they've effectively become a slave. They won't be able to see their children again, nor their wife or family.
I don't want you to get what I got. I'll see you tonight.
The infected become marionettes, being controlled by the puppeteer. The question is, how can you most effectively use this law to get information out of the puppeteer? In human psychology, you cannot underestimate patterns and habits. You are a habitual creature, as all other human beings are. In personal development, you rewire yourself and your life by taking charge of your habits and therefore effectively set new habits. When you observe people, you should look for patterns.
And they will bring death. How do you know?
The space agent.
The space agent.
UD 4126.
Is he still active?
UD 4126 is way out of line this time.
Now, coming to this example, given the fact that the puppeteer is controlling people through blackmail in one way, he must be controlling other people in a similar way. And that is how Raymond Reddington and Lizzie find out who the puppeteer is.
He asked me to look at some field work.
Who came to you for help?
UD 4126.
You have to give me the scientist's name. Who's doing the experiment?
I told you his name, UD 4126.
His name.
No! The Horseman! I told you what I know. It was a top secret mission. That's all I know.
Because that's where I saw it, a badge with the UD classification.
Space Agent 4126 is Dr. Nikolaus Vogel. He lives in Arlington.
Once the puppeteer is found, now the big question becomes, how can you get him to talk?
There's nothing to say. There's nothing you can do.
See how it is done beautifully here.
Tell me about the people you blackmailed. Who are they?
And it won't make any difference anyway. How are you going to help them? I'm the only one that has what they want, what they need. They're going to carry out my instruction or die trying. No matter what you do. That's how blackmail works, sweetheart.
It's a pretty sharp play. Infecting people with a fatal virus that only you have the antidote for, and then telling them they can't have that antidote unless they do exactly as you ask. Such a smart plan. But I borrowed it. Now, I'm a doctor, so I don't know how fast this virus of yours takes to set in, but I know it will kill you soon. So you're gonna do what I say and give me those 5 names. Because that's how blackmail works, sweetheart.
That's a perfect application of the mirror. Interpretation. When somebody doesn't do what you want them to do, just like this guy didn't want to talk.
There's nothing to say.
The mirror is an effective tool. Lizzie used the mirror to achieve the moral effect. She didn't argue endlessly with him, but made him feel what she wanted to tell them. Again, great application of Law 9, which states, don't win through argument, win through your actions. He got infected by his own weapon. Now he was the one getting blackmailed. And as a bonus, look at how Lizzie also mirrored his words back at him.
That's how blackmail works, sweetheart.
Because that's how blackmail works, sweetheart.
The mirror in its positive form will get people to open up and talk to you more. As you can see here.
Donna was right. I should have never tried to make things right with you.
Make things right with me?
Yeah, Harvey, I let Jack do that.
You got overwhelmed with a wave of emotion you didn't see coming. You cried and you let him stay.
No, I saw the amount of work I would have to go through to replace him and decided against it.
Did you see the amount of work through a pool of tears?
Are you finished?
Can I get you anything? Tissue, glass of water, tampon?
Okay, wait a second. You listened to all...
Very busy.
You didn't listen because you couldn't listen, because you were too overwhelmed with emotion.
I am not the topic of conversation here.
Can I get you anything? Tissue? Water?
I got it.
You can use this as a great form of rapport building with anyone you meet. In its negative form, you can use it to get others to shut up or even to eviscerate an enemy like Harvey does here.
Did he reveal that he then lost $50 million on one trade? Dr. Agard, you are under oath. And if you will not answer, I will have a judge compel you to answer.
Yes.
You want to drop this now? Or do you want us to hand this tape over to the SEC?
You couldn't possibly have been pressured to give false testimony against your wishes.
No, I couldn't have.
Let me rephrase. Isn't it true that... Dr. Agard, you are under oath, and if you will not answer, I will have a judge compel you to answer.
Yes.
So, if you let yourself be pressured when someone's life is at risk, what's to make us think you're not doing the exact same thing right now?
Remember, in the moral effect, you employ a strategy where you replicate the actions that others have taken towards you, and you do so in a manner that prompts them to recognize that you are treating them exactly as they treated you, or in this case, other people. You help them realize that their conduct has been unpleasant or unfair, instead of simply complaining and lamenting, which tends to put them on the defensive. You take the qualities you want them to feel ashamed of and construct a mirror through which they can scrutinize their own shortcomings and acquire self-awareness. As Robert writes, this technique is often used by educators, psychologists, and anyone who has to deal with unpleasant and unconscious behavior. This is the teacher's mirror. I got 3 more clips to show you in the future, but I'll cut the video short here, hence the example that I had from the Game of Thrones, I won't use it. Also, I want you to become a man or woman of character, integrity and honor. In order to become that person, you need to be continuously striving for excellence. Seeking power to dominate or manipulate people is a surefire way towards misery in your life. Watch the Power intro video to know why these videos are made, on a channel that is based upon character and integrity. In Law 7 I covered how the mirror can be used against you and also what the dangers are if you use it yourself. I exemplified it by showing clips from Suits. Click here to watch Law 7. If you wish to see the most recent video on this channel, click here. For another Laws of Power video, click right over here. Remember to subscribe to not miss out on these valuable videos. Again, strive for excellence.